Hello everyone. First of all, I need to say that it's a pleasure to be here, such a great conference. Thanks for having me. And my name is Onur Baskirt. I am working as head of software testing at CareerNet. And also I am co-owner of SW Test Academy. It's a software testing blog. And formerly I was worked at Teknosa, which is the biggest technology retailer in Turkey, and Ericsson, Huawei, ST Microelectronics, and I was a researcher at Baskirt University and University of California, Santa Cruz. I'm gonna give very brief information about our company. We are online recruitment and employment market leader in Turkey since 1999. And we have 5.6 million visitors and 180 million page views per month. And we are holding 25 million CVs in our databases, and we have more than 75,000 customers. And SW Test Academy is a global and popular technical software testing blog. And we are generally sharing in our blog technical software testing articles such as test automation, performance testing, security testing, DevOps practices, continuous integration, and so on. You can go on and check the articles. Also, you can join our newsletter and stay tuned for the latest news and articles. Today, I am going to talk about visual test automation. First, I will start with the fundamentals. What is visual test automation, and why we do visual testing? Why we do automate this process, what are the challenges, and after that, fundamentals, we will go on with the brief overview of some of the tools and detailed reviews of some tools such as Applitools Eyes, Percy, Galen Framework, and finally we will finish our talk with Selenium, ImageMagick, and AShot combination. I will show a basic CSS animation with this tool combination. And what is visual test automation? It's a test automation activity, and it verifies UI is displayed as expected to the end user. As you know, when we do UI testing with Selenium or Capybara on another tool, we are interrogating web elements, we are manipulating them, we are at some assertion, verification points to check functionality. But when we come to visual automation, we just focus visual content, shapes, colors, location of elements, sizes, and so on. This is the main difference between UI automation and visual testing. So why we do visual testing? First of all, and it's so clear, graphical user interface must appear correctly to the end user. No such element overlap to another one. If there's that kind of situation, it is so silly and embarrassing for your company. Some bad intended people take a screenshot, put it on social media, Facebook, Twitter, and another place. Then they may ridicule your company, your product, and so on. So it hurts your company brand very, very badly. In a very negative way. And if you provide some critical services, such as if you provide a WordPress template or mobile app generation engine, your customers are using core engine and build their product based on your core product. And if you output some buggy visual problems or defects, visual defects, also your customers will output the same defects. So if you provide that kind of products or services, you have to test your application, you have to do visual automation much more than any other situation. So this is so important. So why do we automate? First of all, test metrics actually. There are a variety of mobile devices, browsers, test environment, resolutions. If you multiply that kind of metrics, you will get very huge test metrics. So it is impossible to cover that kind of test metrics manually. So you need to automate this process. Also, as you know, in agile world, release cycles are getting shorter and shorter. And you have to do a lot of testing activities such as user story testing, security testing, performance testing, test automation, API testing, a lot of things in a single sprint. So if you do also visual testing, you have very limited time. You have to do it faster. Also, as you know, manual visual testing is really cumbersome, really boring. For example, if you do visual testing, the same visual testing 100 times, your eyes getting blind. You cannot recognize some differences. And the human eye is very error prone. So you should automate this process. Also in mobile world, you can very easily fix visual bugs, but you cannot put the fixed application to the store very fast. You have to wait, and you and your customer will leave that bugs much longer than the web world. So what are the challenges? First of all, anti-aliasing. What is anti-aliasing? Anti-aliasing is making the image edge much smoother and nicer. If you're a video game player also, you know that there's a settings in the games, anti-aliasing settings and anisotropic filtering settings. If you increase that settings, the image quality is getting higher because you smooth and you make the images much more nicer. And if you do visual test automation in a variety of environment, and each environment have different graphic processing unit, and they rendered different images. Their rendering output is different. So if you do pixel by pixel comparison, you will get mismatches. So your tool has to be smart to detect this kind of, or ignore that kind of problems. The second one, dynamic content. If you do screenshot-based visual test automation, and each time you take a screenshot, your actual screenshot is different. So if you compare your actual screenshot with the baseline, each time you take a different kind of actual image, so you will get mismatches. So you have some strategies to handle this problem, such as masking the dynamic content or hiding this dynamic content. And that kind of strategies you have to do to eliminate these problems. Or you have to stop it. For example, if there's a GIF in your page, you have to stop at the first frame or the last frame. You can try that kind of strategies to handle this problem. And the other one is moving element problems. These are the examples of auto-kerning, offsets, or dynamic content. At auto-kerning part, you see that space between the letters are changing. And if you do pixel by, again, pixel comparison, you will get errors. Also, if you add some padding to your website, only one pixel padding, your image move just a little bit left or right. Actually, this may not be a problem, maybe. So you have to also take care about these problems. Also, dynamic content, such as username. If username length is changing in your website, the element near to the dynamic content also moves to left to the right or right to the left. But this is normal behavior. It's not a problem. So you have to be care about this moving element problems. We will go on with the brief overview of some tools. The popular ones, I think many of them knows these tools. This is the Phantom CSS. It's also very powerful, popular. It is open source by Huddle. It is a browser support with Phantom.js and Slimer.js. Navigation and taking screenshot is done by Casper.js. And comparison engine is Resemble.js. It's a very nice tool also. You can go to the Resemble.js website. You can drag and drop two images and compare those two images by manually also. It ignores color, anti-aliasing, and moving elements problems. The second one is WebDriver CSS. It is a browser support for Chrome, Firefox, Phantom.js, and it uses WebDriver IO version 2.0 for navigation and taking screenshots. It hasn't support for version 3.0 yet. And comparison engine is ImageMagick. It ignores color, anti-aliasing, and that kind of stuff. Also, you can sync your baseline images one place to another place with WebDriver CSS very easily. Rate is open source by BBC, and it is different than WebDriver CSS and Phantom.js because you don't need to write any code. You just play that .yelm configuration file. You add your pages and your screen resolutions and that kind of parameters. And after that, you will run your test. It generates a gallery.html output. And when you click that file, you will see your actual result, your baselines, actual results, and mismatches. That's all. And also it uses ImageMagick. It has a fuzz option to eliminate anti-aliasing and small changes. And there are many, many tools in the market. So in this session, it's impossible to explain all of them. If you're curious about those tools, you can go their website or GitHub page and get information about their features. And today's first tool, I will go on the detail reviews. Applitools Eyes. How many people knows? I think many of you know Applitools Eyes. Who use Applitools Eyes? All right. It's an automated visual testing tool for web applications and mobile applications. It finds visual differences with several match levels. I will tell you what those match levels are. It has an Eyes SDK for Selenium and Appium, and it's a cloud-based, very clean, very informative dashboard. And how does it work? First, Applitools Eyes take a screenshot with the Eyes SDK and put it in their cloud. At the first run, it saves the images as baseline images. These are your reference points. And the second and the more runs, it will compare your baseline image with the actual image and notifies us if there's a problem, differences. And what are the match levels and their meaning? Exact means pixel by pixel comparison. Generally, we don't use exact because if you do use exact, you will get most of the time errors. Strict is much more reasonable option because it mimics human eyes. It ignores small problems such as anti-aliasing, moving elements, and that kind of problems. Content, it is similar with strict match level, but only difference is it ignores also color changes. And if you want to test your layout, you should use layout option. It compares your skeleton of your website or mobile application. The 4 main steps are Eyes SDK. It is very, very similar to human eyes. First, we have to initialize our eyes. Then we have to open our eyes. Check if you want to check any place, we will use check window method. And after that, we will close our eyes. So I really love this flow. There's also mobile visual testing example here. You can find all the details on SW Test Academy. Also, it's just checked at the first, when it opens a sample APK, it checks the home screen, then click the second radio button and checked if it is clicked or not. Then write SW Test Academy, then click answer and wait for the second screen and check this second screen. So how can we do this kind of testing? First, we have to install Eyes SDK with its Maven dependency. And you should do your Appium, Android SDK, and I use emulator as a Genemotion, these settings. And after, you have to configure your Eyes SDK. First, you have to initialize it. Then you have to set your API key to connect Applitools Eyes cloud. And you have to set your match level and set your device, and done. We did the setup. For the code part, first you have to open your eyes. As you see, you have to give driver application name and your test name. Then you should do, if you want to do visual tech at a certain point, you should use check window method, and you can do a bunch of stuff in your code, and finally you should close the eyes with eyes.close. And at teardown, you have to use eyes dot abort if not closed, if it is not closed. Its usage is like that. And these are the results. At first run, it saves the baseline. And this is the passing scenario. It highlights with the green, and all the tests are passed. This is the fail scenario. It highlights it green and show the mismatches. But if you are a colorblind person, I don't know how you realize it. I think they should add some tests your failed. Actually, there's a place here. Yes, one test failed. Yeah, okay, they did that. And this is dashboard. As you see, it's very informative and very shiny dashboard. You can do a lot of things. You can change mesh level, configure comparison regions, zoom in and zoom out, go back and forth, and do a lot of bunch of stuff with Applitools Eyes dashboard. And second tool is Galen Framework. Is anybody know? Galen? 1, 2, 3. Okay. It's automated layout and responsive testing tool. And you can write some Galen specification file to do layout testing. I will also describe how to write those specification file. And it runs with Selenium grid, SaaS and browser stack support. So you can cover many test metrics with Galen Framework. And it supports parallel testing to run your tests much more faster. You can use, it has also basic syntax. You can use that syntax, or you can use JavaScript, or you can use Java with Selenium WebDriver, or TestNG, and TestNG or JUnit. And it has a very nice reporting. It generates when you run your test, it generates a very informative HTML report. And when you click a problem, you will see it is highlight. And also it has a support for image comparison. It compares images and show their differences. There's an example. Also, this example is in SW Test Academy. You can find its details. Here, our header should be 0 pixel to the right, left, and top. Our logo is under 31 pixel below from to the header. And logo should display it correctly. We should also do a visual testing here. And navigation links horizontally aligned. So first step is install Maven dependency of Galen Framework. And second, write a Galen specification file. How to write those specification file is first you have to declare your web elements with CSS or XPath. If you do it with CSS, go on with CSS. Then if you want, you can add some text. And you can group your elements. Here I am doing this test for desktop, and I use add-on desktop. If I do this for mobile, I will use add-on mobile. Then we should start to declare locations. Our header is inside our screen, 0 pixel to the right, left, and top, as you see here. And this is the image comparison part. Image file, first I should save expected image in my test folder, SWTest logo PNG, and I give 5% error ratio to eliminate small problems such as anti-aliasing. And finally, you can use also for loops, as you see here. I am checking the current item with the next item. They are horizontally aligned with this code. And how to write your test code? First, you have to get your Galen layout report. You should give your specification file and your group and get the layout report. And with that layout report, you should get Galen test information. This is the second step. And using that information, you will create a HTML report under any directory. I use target folder in here. And the folder structure, as you see, like that. This is our test by Galen example test. Under specification folder, I put my home page, Galen specification file, and SW test expected logo. And under target, as you see here, this is our Galen reporting HTML files. This is the report. It's very clean, as you see. When you click the details, we will see the click the home page .layout. We will see the details of our automation results. And when we want to see the details of the problem, we should click that red below the header part. And it highlights the problem and give a small info tooltip to us. The header should be 31 pixels below to the header, but it is 38 pixels below to the header. It also says the problem. And if you click the heat map, you will see the heat map of your elements. And also it has an image comparison capability. If there's a problem, it also highlights the mismatches. And final tool is Percy. Who knows Percy? Yeah, today you will learn. I have never known Percy, but it's also a nice tool. It's a visual regression testing and review platform, actually. It compares images, finds differences. You can review and approve changes like the other tools. It supports responsive testing. It's so easy to do that. You just do some small tricks I will show you. It prevents also false positives, such as dynamic content. It stops the GIFs at the first frame, and also it ignores or stops some CSS animation and transition styles. Also, it supports parallel testing and integrated with GitHub and many CI tools, such as Travis, Jenkins, CodeShift, and bunch of CI integration tools. And you can use Percy with Ember, Ruby Capybara, and Python Selenium. So how does it work? First, you have to integrate Percy with your CI tool and GitHub. And when you do a push, git push or pull request, Jenkins job triggered, and it builds the project and starts to run your test. While your tests are running, and Percy, Percy takes dumb screenshot and sends to the Percy cloud, their server, and render them with the modern browsers. And at the first run, it saves the baseline image, no comparison, and second, and it's like similar to Applitools Eyes. And second, and more runs, Percy compares with actual images with the baseline images. And last step, we will review and approve the changes. If we approve, also we will see the approval to the GitHub. For example, Onur Baskirt approve for visual differences. While you are doing code review, also you can do visual reviews, or you can see the visual reviews outputs. If you install Percy with Jenkins and GitHub, and if you use for Ember, you should install these tools: Git, Node.js, Ember.js, Ember, Percy, Phantom.js, Power, Jenkins, and GitHub. And Percy installation steps. The first part is Percy site. The main idea in this step is to get two tokens, two variables. These are Percy token and Percy project token. You should go Percy.io, click with sign in with GitHub, then go to Percy dashboard, create organization, do GitHub integration, and get two variables. And with two variables, you should, I use Jenkins as a CI tool, you should save them as an environment variable to connect Percy with our CI tool. After that, you have to do GitHub settings and repository settings, and you should use two commands for building and testing. These are npm install and bower install, and for the test, just you can use npm test. So how to write test with Ember Percy? The main function is Percy snapshot. It has two parameters. One of them is name, is the screenshot name. The other is options. You can use several options, such as if you want to take a screenshot of an element, you can use scope option. And if you give the CSS of your header, it only takes the screenshot of header. By default, it takes full page. And this is the sample code of Ember Percy. You can open navigate the home page with visit command. And here we will take our first screenshot. We will write something to the bar with fill-in method and key event method. We will press enter, do some assertions and verifications, and finally take the second screenshot with again using Percy snapshot method. And it is very, very easy to do responsive testing with Percy. You just configure config/environment.js file, and you should add your environment, mobile, tablet, desktop, whatever you want, and you just give the width of your environment. Then Percy handles the rest of the stuff. And you can declare your default environments, and if you want, you can overwrite it, as you see here. And this is the first run of your Ember Percy test. At the first run, as you know, new snapshots, nothing to compare. It just saves the baseline images. Then we should approve if we say, OK, this is OK. And this is the passing scenario. And Percy tells us no visual diffs detected. So everything fine, and it highlights with the green. And this is I add some stuff under the page, the below of the page here. Footer text is changed by Onur Baskirt, and yeah, Percy got it and detected the change. And it says us 2 visual differences detected. And our test failed, as you see here. And our last combination, visual test automation by using ImageMagick, Selenium, and AShot. This is fully open source tools. And first, ImageMagick. Who knows ImageMagick? Who use? All right, nice. It's an open source software test suite, and you can do a bunch of stuff with ImageMagick. You can convert, resize, rotate, or adjust color, and whatever you want with ImageMagick. And also it has several interface support. And in this example, we will use IM for Java. It's a pure Java interface of ImageMagick. And what is AShot? I really love AShot. It's a Yandex screenshot utility. And it is so easy to take screenshot with AShot. You can take entire page screenshot, or you can take web element screenshot. As you see here, you just give a web driver and your element. Okay, AShot handles the rest of the stuff. And this is the example test scenario. It's a basic CSS animation check. Also, you can find this example on SW Test Academy. What it does is, first open CareerNet homepage and unhide the text area of Uzman means specialist, Uzman image, because it's dynamically changing. We have to do something to handle this problem. Here I hide that text element. Then we should hover that image for 2 seconds to wait finish CSS animation, finished, and it turns to purple, and take the screenshot and save at the first time save as a baseline image. And for second and more runs, we should compare baseline image with the actual image and put all differences to do global differences folder, because if I don't put in a global differences folder, for example, if I have 100 tests, I should go each test folder to see differences. First, you have to install ImageMagick with all options enabled and add to the system path. And secondly, you have to add dependencies. Selenium, AShot, ImageMagick, and TestNG. I use TestNG, but if you want, you can use JUnit. And this is the main test method. I handle pop-up, close banner, blah, blah, and I get the element. First, I unhide that text area with JavaScript executor. Then move to the element and wait 2 seconds to finish CSS animation done. And I take a screenshot of that element with AShot, as you see here, and write to that actual screenshot to the test folder and do comparison with ImageMagick, as you see here. I am also explaining the details of this methods. First one is how to take screenshot with AShot. This is so easy. As you see, I give the web element and I use AShot.take screenshot. I give driver and element. AShot handles the rest of the stuff. And this is the do comparison method. What did I do here? First, I check baseline image exists or not. If it exists, I will do comparison. If not, I will write this image screenshot as a baseline image to the test folder. And this is the core function, ImageMagick comparison function. Here, first you have to configure ImageMagick. You have to also add here, the critical part is using fuzz option because it ignores the small problems, anti-aliasing and that kind of stuff. And then you have to add your images, baseline image and actual image and differences, image path to the IAM operation instance. And finally, you have to do comparison with compare.run function and give to your image operation instance. It contains all your images. And if ImageMagick detects some problems, then it goes to catch part and we write the problematic output to do differences, global differences folder. If it is passed, everything goes fine. This is the first one. It creates differences and screenshot folders and also your test folder and write the baseline image to your test folder. And this is a passing scenario. As you see here, it make a comparison, arithmetic error is 0, there is no problem, and there is no differences. After that, I draw some silly drawings, I sketched some lines, blah, blah, to my baseline image and save it as a baseline. Then run the test again, and I will see that ImageMagick detects the differences as you see here. And arithmetic error is more than 3000, and it puts the differences into the global differences folder. And it works like a charm. And this is my pronunciation. This is my, it's finished actually. If you have any questions, I will try to answer.
Thank you. Please, can you recommend better tools for visual regression with Phantom.js?
Phantom.js. Phantom CSS you can use, actually. If you know JavaScript also,
yes.
Yeah, okay, Phantom CSS you can use.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. There's a question.
If you get a source image from, for example, machine with one resolution screen, how to compare?
Yes, that's a great question. You have to improve your code. First, you have to get your viewport and create a test folder with test name / the screen size. After that, you can compare everything. At setup method, you have to get the screen width or screen size viewport of your environment and create a test folder with test name, for example, underscore the viewport size. Then do what you want for visual testing in that folder. You can do it like that. Yeah. Any questions?
Не стесняемся, поднимаем руки.
Thank you.
You're
What
welcome.
is a GSpec file for one of those tools? GSpec, something like that.
GSpec. Galen it means Galen specification.
What is
extension.
inside?
What is inside? Actually, Ivan Shubin wrote that tool. Actually, you have to. spatial syntax. You have to go Galen's site and
So
get the...
I have not to change it, just place it there.
Yeah.
This-
If
okay.
you want to change, for example, test your layout, you have to get the differences with, for example, file path and other tool. Then just write your specification. Element A is near to 31 pixels to do element B, for example, or header. You should write with Galen specification syntax, and Galen handles that layout checking and the other rest of the stuff.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. By the way, if you want, there are very free stickers. You can get SW Test Academy stickers. It is free for take.
Thank you for your talk.
You're welcome.
What you can suggest to deal with different browsers? What I mean, in different browsers, the same viewpoints can be visualized differently. For example, in Chrome, some additional scroll or something like that. How you recommend to deal with it?
You should use viewport actually. Viewport, as I know, handles that borders and rest of the stuff. And also you have to be careful to select your tools. Some tools only supports Phantom or Slimer, but for example Gemini, this is developed by Yandex, for example, it supports all modern browsers. You can use that kind of tool. But if you do it with ImageMagick and with your own code, you have to use, I think, viewport rather than screen size, because screen size takes the borders and scrolls and that kind of things.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, you just check viewport rather than screen size.